Sat Shri Akal, Abhinandan, Khushamadid, welcome. This is Varnish Vidit and I'm here with one more video, and here I'm going to talk something out of the box. I would like to take you back 3 or 4 centuries back when there wasn't anything like vaccination. But almost in 17th century in the US, practice was started to protect the eggs and the chicken from diseases. There was a spread of a disease called Markle's disease and Marek's disease, and that disease was causing a tumor in the brains of the birds. So to protect the birds from this deadly tumor, there was a practice of making a hole in the egg with the help of the hands. It's done with a syringe, and a serum was entered to protect the embryo from any infection. So it was a very tedious and a difficult practice to do it with the precision and accuracy. So they developed an automatic system with the help of machine. They started doing it, and now it became quite easier and simpler to do the inoculation of the eggs and to protect it against deadly diseases. But the practice of vaccination on the human started quite late, and we have to go again back to 18th century when there was a spread of smallpox. Smallpox was also a very deadly disease which was leaving the people with marks on the body, with pockmarked faces and many other effects. And mortality rate of the disease was also very high. Hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people were dying around the globe because of this disease. Then what happened? There was a farmer, and his name was Benjamin Jesty. Benjamin Jesty was a farmer from Dorset in the UK, and he was the first to observe that there was a kind of immunity developed among those people who were working with cattle, especially the milkmaid or the cow hands. Means people who were working along with the cows, they were developing a kind of immunity against smallpox if they get infected by cowpox. So if they are already having an infection of cowpox, they were having automatic immunity against smallpox. So now I would like to take to one person who is actually responsible for making a research on vaccination, the first person who invented the vaccine and protected the lives of the lots of people in those days in 18th century. It was the time of 1796, and it was in Berkeley, which is near Gloucestershire in England. Dr. Edward Jenner was the name of the person. So he was already doing a research on this subject, and he was desperately interested to protect the lives of the people. So what happened? One day he was in his clinic and he was visited by a girl, and she was a milkmaid, and her name was Sarah. Sarah was having a pustule, a pus mark on her hand, and there was a rash which was filled with pus. So she showed it to the doctor, and what doctor did? He found out that it was a disease. It was because of cow pox, and she informed that she got it from her cow. The name of the cow was Blossom. Quite interesting. And she had cowpox from Blossom, and the name of the girl was Sarah, and she visited Dr. Edward Jenner. What Dr. Edward Jenner? He did something very unconventional. He took the material or the matter from the pustule of Sarah, and then he injected it with a boy who was already he was just 8-year-old boy, and his name was James Phipps. So James Phipps was suffering from smallpox. So he injected that matter with the help of the syringe into the body of James Phipps. And miraculously and amazingly, he was having mild illness and mild fever, and he was protected, and he had a very rapid recovery. So here come into the world the invention of vaccine. But it was not that easy to accept it, because people were very conventional, and they were very adamant and rigid to accept it. So they rejected it because there was a fear in the minds of people that if they would take such an injection or such a vaccine, they would develop bovine qualities. Bovine means qualities of cattle, cows and buffaloes. They would be all on their all fours, and they would be having a tail and horns. And they would be doing all moo moo here, moo there. But actually nothing like this happened. But the people who ignored it, they had to pay a cost also. They died. But later on in the 18th century, it was made, in the 19th century, it was made compulsory in the whole England, to go for vaccination, so that the lives of the people could be protected. And here's little information more how this word has come into existence. This word has been derived directly from a word from Latin language, that is vacca. Vacca in Latin means a cow. So from here the adjective came vaccine. And from here came vaccinate and then vaccination. So later on there was one more French microbiologist and chemist. His name was Louis Pasteur. He also developed lots of vaccines to prevent. So he took the whole credit, he gave it to Dr. Jenner, who was the sole inventor and who was the beginner of this wonderful invention for the universe, for the world, to protect the lives of people against deadly diseases. Nowadays, we are fighting against coronavirus, and it has become quite important and necessary for all to go for vaccination. So it's important. We should not be foolish like the people were in the old centuries, and they were resisting and they were not going for vaccination and taking it for granted. It's not a time to take it for granted. It's necessary to go for vaccination. Thank you. Have a nice time. Stay safe and healthy. Till then, goodbye.